Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here today. It's a very special day for the city of Danbury and for myself, to tell you the truth. The options that we have here today are just unbelievable, the scenario we're looking at. We're going to start off by my traditional video. I know many of you know that I love to play videos, but it tells the story of what we're looking at today. Came up to the location and saw the building and saw the potential that could actually be for the middle school and the high school, bringing a solution to Danbury that we so desperately need.
The fact that we have an opportunity to meet those needs with the first-class facility, we're really excited about this.
The options here are tremendous. We actually will own the property that the building sits on.
I was just absolutely overwhelmed by the opportunity for our staff, for our students, for our families, and for the city of Danbury. This is going to be an absolute game changer for us.
Well, the concept of the Career Academy is key. The students of the city need options beyond just college.
In many ways, we're going to provide college and career-ready experiences for our kids. And a facility like this, which is going to promote those experiences for our kids, is just going to be amazing for our families, amazing for our kids, and generationally just improve outcomes on a different level. Between the mayor and our Board of Ed, I feel like we are the team that's going to help lead this district for the years to come.
The school system in Danbury is outstanding, as we all know, and we're just going to make it better and better and better, obviously incorporating this new location. And there it is. Thank you so much. As I said in the video, we pulled up the driveway. As many of you know, we've been negotiating a deal on the west side of Danbury for a different location. And during the negotiations, some of the issues were unacceptable to us as a city, in my opinion. And so the opportunities were there. A second plan was in place when we did make the decision to withdraw from the summit. And in God's blessing, we got a call. We got a call from Mr. Powers, Mel Powers, and his wife, Mary. And his message was, hey, we got a building with 1,600 parking spots, a cafeteria, and a gym. And Roger Palazzo says, Mel, where do you have a school on the west side? It was already in place. So we were very excited about that call. We went over to meet with Mr. Powers, the actual owner of the property. The Cardis people are still here, and I'd like to thank each and every one of them for their understanding of what's happening here. Obviously, the building has been empty since COVID. They're working from home, and that's what their goal is, to move forward. And Cardis is a huge employer here in Danbury. We're going to support them with whatever they do, obviously, because Danbury is about Danbury, and Cardis is Danbury. So we're going to move forward from there. The building came to our attention by Mr. Powers. The first thing I did was, give me that. No, I'm going to go see Mel. And we went over to see Mr. Powers, and we negotiated what he was looking for the property. And we took a ride over here, and as you probably all know, when you pulled up this driveway, you could feel it. I'm sure you could feel it. When you saw this building, the potential of this building that we're in right now for a middle school and a high school, and moving the Career Academy curriculum along. So I'm confident that everyone in this room can feel it and see what the potential is here. My biggest thing was that we're looking at a huge investment, as we know. We all know the price tag. It's something that we'll put to the voters, and I'm sure they'll agree that this is the best opportunity for the city of Danbury. Looking forward, this property gives us a potential for future expansion. We will own every step that you take on this land in the future. We will own. Unfortunately, at the other option, we didn't own the property. We owned a condo kind of concept. And for me personally, it wasn't acceptable. We're going to own this land. We're going to have potential expansion for the city of Danbury. And move the city and the school forward. I've been working with Superintendent Kevin Walston. He's been a huge asset to negotiations up to this point. We've walked this building, how many times, Kevin? At least 5, at least, right? And we both smiled at each other and said, this is the future of education here in Danbury. We're gonna get this Career Academy done, and this is gonna be the location for the future. We have an option with our negotiations for purchase, first right of refusal at a lower building below that we can utilize for potential expansion. And the building next door is owned by Hologic, and we're gonna work on that in the future. As my predecessor used to say, Mark Bowden, how do you eat a whale? It's one bite at a time. So we're gonna take the first bite today. And I really appreciate every one of you for being here today. But I would like to take this opportunity to introduce my staff. Antonio Iaturola, he's been a key person. Either that's a good sign or a bad sign.
You mentioned a whale.
There you go. It sounds like a foghorn, right?
Are you good?
I'm sorry. Yeah, so far so good. But Antonio's been key. He's been working every single day since we started in 2019 to get the Career Academy up and running. And we know that it was over at the Summit property. Negotiations were being worked out. And at that point in 2019, there were not a lot of options. There were not a lot of options for expansion or a second high school. With God's blessing again, the options are here today, and this is one of them. And I spoke with our leadership and the council. I laid out all 3 options. We had a third option that would be building from scratch over at the high school and over at the Broadview Junior High School for the middle school. But when I brought it to the leadership, they were agreed with me that the reality is this particular piece of property. Okay, there's the foghorn again. This particular piece of property was exactly what we were looking for, in my mind. It's a campus for the future. And I think once we secure this and we bring it to the people of Danbury to get the funding and realize what the potential is here, I think they will agree that this is the future of Danbury right here. We know that the school, our current high school, is being pushed to the limits. I credit Kevin and his staff and the teachers and the students for the uncomfortable position they are in today. It's a little tight up there, we all know that. I've been dealing directly with the Board of Ed, and Rachel, I want to thank you so much for making the Board of Ed understand what we're doing here and the potential that we have here. So I'm not one to speak too long, but this is so exciting for me. As a lifelong Danburian, I see the potential here for the future of this city, and I think this is the way to go. Dan Petrovich has been working directly on that with Antonio. Our staff has moved forward so quickly, unbelievably moving forward. As you see, the renditions over there, this has been maybe, what, Antonio, 2 weeks in the making?
Less.
A little less. So that's unbelievable, really, for a municipality to move this fast and move forward as quickly as we have to this point. But I'm glad that you're here today to share this with us. We got David Arcani here in the state delegation, Ken Gucker, to help us move forward. Senator, I'm so happy you're here today. Bob Godfrey, the lead man for many years, a good friend. They're all here to hopefully support this aggressive move. It's a time that we have to move forward as quickly as possible to resolve the problems and the space issue that we're having here in the city of Danbury. And our goals have been clear from the start. Education, education, education. So we'll move forward from this point and hopefully secure this deal, get this school up and running. And just to remind you that this location is going to hold 2 schools, a high school and a middle school. And we are working with Kevin and his staff to ensure that we have a position for administrative offices, which will consolidate the efforts of the offices, save us money in rent, and bring them all together so we have a good working relationship and a huge campus here in Danbury. And I don't know about you, but when you walk out to the side over here and look out, you couldn't get a better view of the city of Danbury. It oversees the city, and it's very impressive. But with that said, you know, I can't keep praising the whole scenario. My guy John made me some nice notes, but I don't think I've looked at them. John, it's very an emotional thing for me, because as I said in the beginning, when you pull up this driveway and you see the potential here, you feel it. You have to feel it. So I want to again thank you all so much. I want to introduce Kevin Walston, our superintendent of schools, to say a few words, and we'll be here for questions. And Pat, I don't want to leave you out. Pat Callahan, our state representative, and Senator Kushner. I really appreciate you being here as well. And we're all going to evaluate. We have members of the Board of Ed. It's a team effort. It's not the mayor. It's not the Board of Ed. It's not the superintendent. It's the city of Danbury. And it's synergy that we're going to move together and make this happen. And with God's blessing, it'll be in this location, or if not, it'll be in another one, because we have to continue to provide the best possible services for the students of this city, our teachers, and our administrators. So Kevin, if you can come up and say a few words.
Mayor, which one is the whale button? Just in case.
You'll see, it'll
Okay.
blow pretty soon.
Sir, thank you for those kind words. And I do have some notes that I'm probably going to stay on the script, not as good as the mayor at this. But I'd like to start out by thanking our legislators in the room, thanking our council members in the room, my staff, my team, my parents, my kids. Don't recognize and appreciate the hard work that goes on behind the scenes to even put us in a position for the other venue that we thought we were going to move into, and quite frankly, doesn't necessarily appreciate the hard work that it's going to take to make this place a reality. So I just want to start off thanking all of those elected officials. We would not have been at this other place without you. We would not be here without you. So I just want to thank you. So I just want to start out with the concept of the Danbury Career Academy. And so the folks in this audience can kind of appreciate the thinking behind the scenes from an academic perspective, right? And so once upon a time, a K-12 education was sufficient to get a job that enabled you to support a family and buy a house. Our current education system doesn't always do this, just because of how fast technology is moving and how the demand for jobs have changed tremendously over the last few decades. But it does not mean we are not powerless here in Danbury, and our children get a more direct pathways to employment with more aligned training that makes their skill set more desirable for employers. And our assistant superintendent of curriculum instruction, curriculum administrators behind the scenes have tried to work really hard putting together curriculum experiences to make sure our kids are empowered and have that power to find jobs that are more demanding now and in the future. The Danbury Career Academy is just this type of unique opportunity to provide students with turnkey skills and experiences that will make their college and career experiences more directed and more rewarding, while also giving them a unique edge in a job market. I want to thank the mayor for your support, vision, and leadership in helping us land this amazing facility. It is one that will be appreciated by families and students for generations and generations to come. Second, Antonio, there you are. Firsthand, I've had the opportunity to witness your advocacy and determination and get in the right venue for our new school. And on behalf of that team right there, and Mike over here, and all of the students who are back in school and families who are at home, I just want to thank you because your advocacy, your determination has been real. And frankly, I'm not sure if this is a reality and those things are a reality without you. Thank you so much. And then to Dan and Tom, I know some other members of your team. I know they're out here in the audience somewhere. You guys have been an amazing team members to work with. And so I just want to thank you as well, from board meetings and getting things approved by the boards and just kind of walking us through the logistics. I know you guys have done these things many times, and we appreciate being a passenger in those moments where you guys have the expertise and we do not. We really appreciate you. And then to our Board of Education. my chairperson is right there, True North. And I just want to thank you for your dedication to this district. I don't think you've heard it from us enough, but we all appreciate your leadership during these really difficult times. And throughout this process, I know you and I have been on the phone many times about this and all of these other things that have been going on, but you've recognized and maintained this whole time how important this project is. And I just want to thank you for keeping everything, the ship kind of steady while all these other things are moving around us. So thank you. And then of course the board, I want to thank you, Michelle, and thank Bridget in the audience and all of the board members for your support. I'm sure your support is going to continue to be needed. I'm sure we have a lot of rough roads ahead, but we are in an amazing position today. Last but not least, and I know some of my team is not here, but the district cabinet members are here to my left. And I just want to thank you all. Kim will be hiring some more people, so you should get ready. And my finance people, you should get ready because this is going to require some more work from all of our respective offices. But I know our high school principal's in the back there. He is. He's trying to hide. It's not very easy. And so Dr. Casimiro and Dan Donovan, I want to thank you both for your hard work in getting the school concept built out. As they say, form follows function, and this school will be built to the unique needs of the learning that will happen here in this space. Thank you, everyone, for your time, effort, determination. We are ready, Mayor. Thank you so much.
And the man with the numbers, Antonio.
Thank
I had to roll.
Thank you, and thank you for the kind words. Projects like this don't get done without teamwork, and I just have to tell you how much I cherish the relationship that I have with the Board of Ed. The trust that they put in me and my team is tremendous, and this will be a test of that again, but we always seem to come through, and we come through together because we talk about the difficult moments and we deal with the difficult issues, and that's the reason why we've been so successful. I just want to start off by, I know we've already thanked our Cardis partnerships, but I got to tell you, the folks here at Cardis, this corporate partner is tremendous. In the last 2 weeks, I lost count how many times we've been here. We crawled up into the ceilings. We looked into their electrical panels. We looked into the boilers. We sniffed whatever we needed to sniff and tasted whatever we needed to taste. They've been tremendous, and whatever you folks need, please let us know. We'll help you any way we can. What I'd like to tell you is a little bit about this building. I don't want to bore you, but this is like the exciting part of the presentation, I hope. You're standing in a 270,000 square foot building. This building's huge. You're only in a little piece of it. The goal is ultimately to convert, as the mayor said, into two schools that are distinctly separated. We always like to separate our middle school children from our high school children. But believe it or not, there's a point where they actually do come together and share some spaces. But just to give you a quick overview, of the 270,000 square feet, we're going to be creating a high school for 1,100 children. They will predominantly be in the south wing, which has 4 floors. The first floor is predominantly a common area. It has your cafeteria, has all of those assembly type spaces. And then the academic spaces will be on the second and third floor of the south wing. In addition to that, we're going to be creating a middle school that will predominantly be on the north end of the building. We call it the north wing. It will be a school for 360 kids. And the school has a second and a third floor. The first floor of that area will be predominantly for offices and administrative personnel. In addition to that, this building was so effectively easy to reprogram that we actually were able to entertain a request that's been going on for probably 4 or 5 years, which is to take our Board of Education administrative offices, including the academic piece, and actually bring them together so they can work together all in one building. So that's just, I can't tell you what that does for our superintendent's operation, the efficiency, to be able to have them communicate and eliminate some leases that we're paying money for every month. So we've dedicated 31,500 square feet of a portion of this building. It's going to have its own separate entrance. It's going to have its own dedicated elevator, own dedicated parking, where the Board of Education administration will be able to work out of and have that great working relationship where they're able to converse with each other, meet quickly, and have a much better working relationship that they have right now, being separated. This building, you want to talk about some excitement. I think, I remember when the mayor called me the first time about it. I think he was driving over here, and I said, I heard about the Carter's building, but it's not available. How did you get it available? What'd you do, evict them? What happened here? And he said, no, I think they're looking at, looking at their workforce and finding, as every community and as every business is doing, finding a different way to exist. So there might be an opportunity. I think it was from that moment forward that we've been here 2 weeks now, just making sure that we could reprogram the space. A week ago, the mayor called me and said, so Antonio, can we fit 2 schools in there? I said, not only can we fit 2 schools, I think we could do even more than that. So where do you find a building that has a cafeteria that already basically accommodates the swing that you need in having 300 to 360 kids sit together all in one shop? This building has that. The kitchen here is better than any commercial kitchen I've ever seen. It requires basically no upgrades to it. The serving line, the serveries are perfect. Ice coolers, refrigerators, all the walking kitchen apparatus that we usually spend $200,000-$400,000 for. This building has it, and it's immaculate. Very well maintained building. So all of these benefits are giving us opportunities to move ahead a little quicker than if we were going to build a space coming out of the ground. As you know, our goal is still to try to open up by 2024. I've made that commitment to the superintendent and his staff, and it's going to require some hard pushing and building construction in these times right now where you're having issues getting materials, you're having labor issues. It might be a challenge, but we're going to put together a contingency plan, and we'll work with the Board of Education on those issues. The other important thing to also note here is the building's got so much land associated with it that to create a really effective bus drop-off for both schools, very easy to accomplish. In addition to that, we've also been able to effectively program in a loop for parent drop-off, which was going to be a struggle at our other location. So I really believe this project here will be the capstone of my career because I'm so happy to be involved in a project like this where we're not only changing the way we're educating our kids, we're changing the way we're actually building schools. The fact that we have legislative support to start taking old building spaces and converting them into school, and our state folks are all on board with this. They realize that instead of going out and spending $200-300 million on a facility like this, we can effectively reprogram either vacant or will be soon vacant space into a school. And this is a perfect example. This will be serial number 1 for the state on this project, and they're excited as us. We've had constant conversations with them, and there's a willingness to help out any way we can. So I want to thank the mayor for this opportunity, and I also want to say that in the next week or 2, Board of Education folks, where are you? I'll be knocking on your door to try to get some of these last final changes to our plan so we can start our design process. So thank you.
Antonio, Well, that basically concludes the portion of speaking to you about this building. Obviously, as I stood here and listened to Antonio, I'm so proud of him and our superintendent for seeing the vision that that I have, and I think that you will all have when you leave this location. I definitely want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of the city employees that are here today. I want to reassure the people of the city of Danbury that our employees step up each and every day to provide the best possible service for the citizens of the city of Danbury. And many of them are here today, and I want to thank them personally for their efforts. So I think at this point, John, we're gonna take some questions if that's okay. Yes.
What are the new cost estimates?
The new cost estimates.
We're gonna probably have it nailed down by tomorrow. I'm right in the middle of getting some final numbers.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, these drawings that you see here were actually finalized on Saturday. So they're at the estimator right now. We have a professional estimator working with us. We have an architect that's looking at this, and we'll be actually reaching out to a few contractors in the next couple of days just to kind of understand where the costs are. If you're in the building industry today, there is not one number that you get yesterday that you can run with today. I've never seen anything like this. I've been building schools for probably 30 some odd years now, and it's the toughest environment to actually try to program some cost to it. But we have to do it, and we'll have some escalation numbers in there. There'll be some contingencies, but we're gonna get to a number that hopefully will work.
Is the city going to be going out for another bond?
Yes. That's where one of the intentions for today was to show the new location and get the support from the citizens of Danbury as well. Initially, our discussion was that with the purchase of this 30-acre piece of property and potential 2 other buildings, that the money that we're gonna spend here is much more secured for the citizens of Danbury. And at first glance, it doesn't look like it would be much more than what was posted in the paper a few weeks ago. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a much better investment for the people of this city that will own the property, will own the building, and will be able to continue to provide space that we may need in the future.
Is there a timeline for going to the city council and then out to the
We're going to the
residents?
council on Tuesday. We have a council meeting, and we're gonna have a special meeting of the council on Thursday, basically to address this issue and move this forward as soon as possible.
An important note to maybe think about is the fact that our old building was actually a condominium, and if any of you have owned a condominium, you know there's this term called common charges. I can't even imagine what the common charges would be on 2 million square feet of area, but it would have been a significant operating challenge, which we're quite honestly eliminating here. There's no common charges. We own it outright. And any type of assessment that would come down the road for improvements that would be done to the 2 million square feet, we would have to participate in at whatever cost was deemed to be. Where here we can actually control it. We can build and we could do work a lot cheaper than most of our commercial partners, and it's because we usually move pretty quick through the process, and we usually look for the lowest price that we can. So, but that's an important note to bring up.
And as you know, Jillian, the state of Connecticut and our state delegations worked hard to give us the ability to get their support with regards to the overall cost of this. So that will be negotiated as far as what percentage we'll be at. And we're hoping it'll stay at the same percentage that we've talked about in the past. And as we talk about the issue, I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank those from the summit. The deal didn't work out for us, but they have been a good, solid employer here in Danbury. The whole location over there has been solid. The representatives from the local representatives of that project have been key to negotiations. As Antonio knows, we've been dealing with them directly. And I don't want to give the impression that they were a bad group. It just didn't work out. their proposal wasn't working with what we thought was best for the taxpayers and the people of this city. So with regards to the summit, they're going to continue on moving forward with their project and hopefully develop that area and give us what their proposal is. And as we know, there's going to be apartments over that way in the future. But in the big picture, during negotiations, it didn't work out. But they've been very solid, and I commend them for their efforts in the past.
And will the cost estimates be available for tomorrow night's council meeting or Thursdays, or is that something, there's just gonna be a general discussion about moving forward?
My hope is to have some final numbers by like Wednesday morning, maybe even a little earlier. Yeah, we're gonna work as late as we need to tonight to nail down. We have some calls into some vendors on some items that we just cannot get anybody to commit on pricing. And those items are large items. When you start thinking about spending $15 million just on your HVAC system, you want to make sure you check that number in. You want to see where the trend is going on material cost, availability. Roofing today, if any of you guys are doing a commercial roof, it's almost impossible to get materials. Whoever has materials, they're charging you through the nose for it. So we want to just safeguard and make sure we have all of that accounted for. And like I said, we basically finished a lot of the renderings and a lot of the floor plans that you see here on Saturday. Yeah.
And as you know, this is a commercial office space building. So to develop it into a school, or two schools actually, it's going to take some effort and it's going to take some investment. But in the end, it's going to be the shining star of Connecticut when we're done with this building. Yes?
You mentioned that the negotiations and questions and all of that happened within a 2-week period. And compared to the other negotiations with the summit, that's a very short time period. So how did you make sure all your concerns and questions were addressed in that short amount of time?
Well, that's a great question. You know, we're dealing with the Powers Company Corporation. That's a huge property owner in Danbury, a very established company. We have some of the members in the back that Mr. Mel Powers and his wife Mary were involved in the negotiations, and they're personally own the property. So we're not dealing with a third party that's out of state, so to speak, like we were with the last project. They're Danburyans. Their goals are to see Danbury move forward, and we had a very, very positive meeting right in the first day when we knew that the potential that this property was available, and their commitment to us was that we're going to make this happen. We're going to see Danbury prosper from this project. Any other? Yes.
Could you talk a little bit more about the curriculum and the skills you're going to be working on with the academy?
Kevin? Sure. So, the team has worked on for 6 career academies, aligned with so part of the work that's been done behind the scenes is working with industry partners and trying to get an understanding of what are some of the careers and jobs that are going to be in demand moving forward. And so we've aligned our academies with those with that feedback from the different organizations. And so we will have 2 academies in this building and then 4 at the high school. I don't want to name them because I may mess the names up, but we'll have them available for you. We'll have 2 at this school, about 450 per academy, and then about 450 per academy at Danbury High School. So about 900 here to 1,000, and then about 2,800 of course kids at Danbury's high school site.
And is it like manufacturing? What industry?
Yes. So they will be STEM focused, and so STEM and business will be in this building, and so manufacturing will be one of the many pathways that are coming out of this site specifically. And then we will retrofit the school, and that's why Antonio continues to ask about the academic specs for the position, for the job. We'll retrofit it to align with the focus of the academies and pathways.
And what was the final purchase price for the building?
The final price hasn't been, it has not been finalized yet. Our legal team is working with the Powers Corporation, and we have a base number, but it has not been finalized yet. Yes?
If the academy is not able to open in fall of 2024, what is your contingency plan for Danbury students?
Well, we've been working with Kevin and the Board of Ed on that. We're going to address that as it comes.
So
Yeah, but-
we've kind of been working with contingency plans every year. And I'm not trying to make fun, like we don't want to delay the project. We don't want to go into the project thinking it's going to be delayed. But we certainly will be prepared. And so it certainly will probably require us to have two different plans. But I think in our collaboration and talks with the city, we will know prior to 24, 25 if the building's going to be open or not. And then if it's not, certainly we will plan to make sure that we have contingency plans in place before it's open. But I don't think this is something we're going to learn at the last minute. That 24, 25 is not a reality, and we will plan accordingly.
And I think at this point with supply chain and those scenarios that Antonio spoke on, that would be the only thing that held us up. Obviously, we're moving as fast forward as we can to hold to that time span. And with Antonio on the job, I think we could probably do it.
One of the things I want to add, timing is critical, and I'm usually the person that's left making sure that we get to the finish line on time and with a little money left in our pocket. So I've been talking to the Board of Ed and specifically with Kevin about at what point do we determine we have an issue, supply chain issue, where we're not going to be able to make this happen. Once we actually get the design done and we can start determining what products we need, our goal is to try to buy them ahead of when we actually need them, which would require some pre-purchasing. State of Connecticut, the folks with the school construction grants have been great. They understand the challenge that we have today in building in this crazy, not only economy, but with every day there's a newspaper article that comes out and the industry just goes left or right. So they understand that. They've allowed us to possibly take a look at doing the school in small phases to be able to accommodate some of those issues, which requires a lot more meetings for them. It requires a lot more time, but this is how committed these folks are in seeing that this project is successful. So we're very happy about that, but it's not gonna be a last minute thing. There's gonna be a point in time where it looks like we're gonna be able to make it or we're not, and when we have those discussions with Kevin, we'll be building some contingency plans, including possibly having a small portion of this building able to actually be occupied for some classes. That is one of the options we're looking at, and reprogramming some spaces in some other schools to accommodate the bulge that is coming our way.
Any other questions? All righty. Again, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here. I'd like to take this opportunity again to thank those council members that are here. There are quite a few city council members that are here, and it shows their commitment and their drive to get this project done. We have our meeting on Tuesday, our regular council meeting, as I said. We have a special meeting on Thursday regarding this project, and I'd like to thank each and every one of them for being here today. Dave St. Hilaire, our finance director, is here. We're going to be looking right at Dave to help us out with this whole project. But again, thank you all for being here today. I think that you're going to be as pumped up as I am about this project, and we're going to get this project done, and we're going to provide the quality services that we need and are demanded by our residents for the students of this city. So thank you again for being here.